Hello and namaste everyone. Thank you very much for taking time to tune in. Today I'm going to chat about a very important aspect of our lives, which are the birthdays. I know most of the people get excited about the birthdays and going to big celebrations, a lot of expectations in terms of what you receive on your birthday, in terms of wishes and how many people are wishing you, how many people are liking you. And of course, with the whole social media revolution now, there is a lot of expectation about how many people are posting about you, wishing you, all kinds of stuff that happens around these birthdays. And I wanted to reflect a little bit. Of course, I too receive wishes. A lot of people are posting about it, sending wishes, and have a very different perspective about birthdays from the beginning, very early on in my life. I was never much interested in the celebrations as such, and also the day itself used to be a very interesting day for me because I was not very happy on any of my birthdays. I used to be contemplating, reflecting of like, why am I here? What is this about? Yes, there used to be obviously parents, wanted to celebrate this special day. Friends and family always were interested to do something special about it. But I myself used to be in a state of very reflective mode of what is going on, why am I here, what is the purpose, why are we doing all these things. So inside there used to be some unknown lacuna on that day specifically. And then the next day and every other days, I used to kind of get busy with stuff, of course, with studies and education and all that. But that lacuna was always there until, of course, when I was 33, when I met ancient sage Sunita Amma, that completely changed. And I never was sad again after that. I was never having that lacuna because I've realized the purpose of my birth. I've realized why am I here in this world. I've realized what I need to be doing in this lifetime in this world. So that was a transformative moment, and that's why I wanted to share some of the insights, some of the wisdom about what ancient texts, ancient sages have taught us about this cycle of life, cycle of birth and death. In fact, ancient wisdom says, Vasanse jirnani yata vihaya, tata sharirani vihaya jirnaya, which means just like this cloth, the shirt or piece of dress that we wear, very similar to that, this body, this layer called body also worn and get withered away over a period of time, worn out over a period of time. Very similar to the dress. See, this shirt I'll probably wear for a few months, few years maybe, and after that this shirt's gonna be gone to recycle, right? It gets recycled. Literally, we take it and make a donation. Somebody else may use it, or it might get recycled and the threads fall apart. It goes back into the earth, and again, of course, in form of plants, in form of cotton, thread, everything comes back into life again, and then again it goes back. So just like this piece of cloth here, our body also gets recycled. In fact, our body gets recycled every moment. We don't realize that. Every moment, thousands of cells in our body are dying and there are new cells forming in our body. So this body is not static, and we know that truth because I am not the same person who I was when I came into this world at the time of birth. And I'm not going to be the same person in a few more years, because this body is going to get old. And we see that with our parents, with our elderly members in the society, in our family, that they're not the same people, and this gets worn out and then this gets recycled. But ancient wisdom says that there is something inside you which is permanent, which is changeless. And the essence of the birth is to realize the changeless, the one that does not die with this body, the one that does not perish with these trillions of cells in our body. And that's what this ancient shloka says, Vasansi jirnani yata vihaya, navani grihnati naroparani, tata sharirani vihaya jirnaya. Means just like this cloth, this body is also going to perish, worn out one day. But there is one inside This, which again the ancient wisdom says, Nayanam chindanti shastrani, Nayanam dahati pavakaha, Nachayanam kledayantyapo, Nasoshayati maruta. Means there is one which is not destroyed by the wind, the air, the fire. None of these elements in this nature can destroy it. That is the one that we need to catch. So once I have realized that changeless Atma, the soul, the spirit, my life has transformed completely. I actually celebrate every moment. Every moment is new to me. Every moment is joyful. Every moment feels blissful, because I have realized the purpose of this birth is to realize that changeless form. So, my dear friends, I don't say that you should not celebrate birthdays. Yes, you're going to cut the cake, blow the candles, have those balloons, have the flowers. But in each of those, start to realize the essence of this birth. Every time you're looking at that candle, see that light that is coming out of that candle. Every time you light that candle with so many other candles equaling to your number of birthdays that you're celebrating, 25 or 30 or 33 or 40, whatever you're celebrating. Imagine the power of that single candle when lit can transform so many lives, can really light so many other candles. Similarly, the light, that Atma Jyoti inside you has the power to bring light into so many others' lives. We know people are suffering day in, day out there. And we can eliminate that suffering by bringing this light of knowledge of the self, knowledge of Atma, knowledge of the soul. If one becomes that candle and starts to light many more candles, we will see more light in this world. Not only that, also realize that this flicker of a candle is momentary. It's going to go away. Just like that candle is going to disappear in a moment, it's going to melt away. After a few hours, this body is going to melt away too. But before this body perishes, you can light so many other candles. You can bring light into so many other lives. Similar to candle, before that candle melts away, that wax melts away, you can use that light to light hundreds and thousands of candles, isn't it? Similarly, using this body, which will gonna wax away after a certain time, use that inner light to bring light into so many lives. When you are seeing that balloon, you see that balloon, you blow that air into that balloon, but that balloon is going to burst one day, and then the air is going to become one with the air outside. Very powerful lesson from that, very powerful message is that air that I breathe, you breathe is all the same. In fact, this body is what is separating us. But realize that one inside is the same in the other person as well. And this is what ancient wisdom speaks about, the unity in diversity, the sense of oneness. Start to realize that the Atma in you and the Atma in others is the same. The air inside your lungs and the air in the lungs of the other person is also the same. This is exactly what balloons refer us. You blow 100 balloons, but the air in all the balloons is common. And one day that air is going back to its source. The way it came back from that one source, it is going back to that same source. Similarly, this Atma, this individual Jivatma, the individual consciousness is going to merge back into that pure universal consciousness. And the third part, we receive flowers, we celebrate with these flowers. Look at the selflessness of these flowers, how they are bringing joy into our lives. They are part of this beautiful plant, and then we take the flower from the plant, we prepare this bouquet and bring joy into our lives. Similarly, become that flower to bring joy into others' lives. The way we surrender, they take that flower to a temple or to a church or to a place of worship, and you give it to others. And the way it is being surrendered to others, similarly surrender this flower, this beautiful flower, to that higher energy. Call it God, call it divine, call it whatever you want to call it, but there is that higher power beyond. And to surrender this beautiful flower, keep this body as that beautiful flower, nurture this tenderly day by day, giving proper food, proper nutrition, proper habits, proper thoughts, and create this beautiful divine flower and surrender this divine flower to that higher purpose. It reminds me of this beautiful poem that Rabindranath Tagore, Nobel laureate, wrote in Gitanjali about the flower. I remember reading this when I was in grade 8 in my English textbook, and it's really inspired me so much. I used to write so much about that one poem because it really I felt that we are the flowers. We need to create this beautiful flower from this body and then surrender it to that. So learn the power of surrender from that flower bouquet that you receive on your birthday. And finally, when you're cutting that cake, you see, we don't eat the entire cake. We cut the cake, we have one piece, and then what we do is we distribute that cake to everybody else around. So similarly, whatever you have in your life, distribute it. Giving is the most joyful thing that you can do. Celebrate giving. Give whatever you have, food, your love, your energy. That selfless seva, that selfless giving is what really nurtures us. So I'm not saying don't celebrate birthdays if you're into it, but please realize every act in that celebration is a way to realize the purpose of this birth. Remember, my dears, you might be throwing a very big party, you might want hundreds of people wishing you, and you might feel a sense of pride in that moment. But none of this name, fame, money, power, none of these are going to last. Like I said in the beginning, this body is going to perish like this piece of cloth one day. Keep pondering on that every moment. Celebrate the duration of this lifetime, not just that one moment of birth or death, but what you are accomplishing between the time of birth and between the time you are leaving this body is what matters the most. So again, I'm not very much into the birthdays. If you're sending wishes, my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you. I know all of you love me. I love you the same. I may not respond back to your wishes,